The following is an EHC media production. Predictions.
I genuinely believe this might be Jason Jordan's big time to shine. You know, here's a month, kids. Let's see how you do.
I'm trying to tell you, if AJ Styles hits that phenomenal forearm, Kevin Owens will get pinned. Reactions.
And by the way, why does John Cena have to shake the guy's hand every time he loses? And why didn't Roman Reigns turn it down?
They did such a good job of building up Braun Strowman. I believed in him as a monster. And then one F5 took him down. One F5. RWT presents Ring Psychology. Hello, RWT family. I, of course, am Emir Blackbane Costello, and I have my co-host with me, Mike Ebeza, and I'd like to welcome you to the first edition of Ring Psychology. How's it going today, Mike?
Going well. We're recording this pretty early my time, but you know what? I'm good. I'm an early bird. I'm gonna catch me some worms.
Excellent, man. Well, I'm so happy that we decided to do this. I'll never forget the first podcast that we did together, and we kind of spitballed some ideas about working together. I don't think either one of us really knew, what it could potentially turn into or what would happen, but it seems like we gel, we got great chemistry, we've done a ton together, and now look at us, we have a show together finally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, normally we do the match simulations, but my bad, I've just been too busy, so we haven't managed to do those over on my channel, but this is more than going to make up for it, I'm sure, because this is going to be great. I'm looking forward to this.
I am as well. So for any of those who didn't see the advertisement that I created on the RWT page, this is a predictions show, and then there'll be a second show that'll be recorded after each pay-per-view. That'll be a reaction show. So our job essentially is to break down the pay-per-view for you and tell you who we think is going to win, the outcomes, what's going into the storylines, and just the ring psychology, what we think everybody's thinking. And I don't know, you guys of course will have the ability to comment on it and let us know what you're thinking, but we're always going to give you our so-called expert opinions.
Absolutely, and I'm going to give you my grumpy opinion in the reviews because it will be 4 a.m. for me. And I'll have been up 22 hours by then, so it should be fun. I'll be tearing everything down.
Exactly, and that's why that's what they have to understand that, Mike. You're doing this for them. You're killing yourself for them.
This is a wrestling podcast, and I said tear it down. No, I'm going to burn it down.
Oh, yeah. Burn it down. So we got, this Sunday, we got coming up Hell in a Cell. What do you think, my man? I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had a lot going on, school wise, life wise. Wife, kids, the whole shebang. 2 dogs, whatever. As a matter of fact, my fence is even white. So it's the true American dream, except for the part where I haven't had a lot of opportunity to watch the build to this SmackDown pay-per-view. How are you feeling about it?
I think I'm really looking forward to it. There's enough matches on the card that I think are going to be either really good matches or just really entertaining, like storytelling. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the show. I usually go into most WWE pay-per-views looking forward to the show. There's been, a few instances where I've thought, well, this is going to be a waste of a few hours, but over the last couple of years, but I don't get it that often, so I'm always quite optimistic going in. It's coming out that I'm usually quite unhappy.
Yeah, I agree, man. I go into it very optimistic as well. Like, seriously, every pay-per-view I'm like, oh my god, it's finally happening, and there's the matches I can't wait for, and then usually by the end of it I'm like, I planned my whole freaking day around this, and what a letdown. But then there's times where just every so often something amazing will happen, and it's like, see, that's why I keep watching.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what match do we got coming up first, man?
Well, I think it makes sense to go with the kickoff match first because we know about it. I think last time we did predictions just in the form of a video on my channel, we didn't even know about the kickoff match when we recorded it, so we didn't do it. But we may as well talk about it briefly because something interesting might happen in this one, especially. So yeah, it's going to be Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, the newly formed tag team. Shelton Benjamin being larger Jason Jordan, obviously, replacing him completely in American Alpha versus the Hype Bros. And I feel like it's an easy prediction, and I feel like we might see some significant story development in this match. What do you think? Who you got?
Let's see. I got Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, which, by the way, I still don't like the idea that they put them together as a tag team, because it's kind of like, come on, Shelton, just come back and kick ass. You don't need to be like the new, the new Jason Jordan, or technically the original Jason Jordan, depending on how you look at it.
The new old Jason Jordan.
Right, new and old at the same time. But I get it. I see where they're going with this. You know, I think Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin pick up the win, and that leads to some frustration on the part of Zack Ryder, and then, you know, he has his heel turn officially. I don't know who he attacks. Does he just attack them? Does he attack Mojo Rawley? I know he's gonna attack somebody, and he's gonna have a moment. And my only hope for Zack Ryder, who I have always had an admiration for, is that I hope this heel turn, this gimmick change, leads to something for him, something, because he's such a good guy, and he's a decent talent in the ring, but he hasn't been giving he's not a lot of chances for him, and I just want to see something happen for him, you know?
See, it's interesting that you're saying you're 100% on Zack Ryder, because I think the obvious thing on the match is who's winning. I think the least obvious thing is how the heel turn's going to go down. Is Zack going to turn? Is Mojo going to turn? Are they both going to turn as a team? There's been sort of hints at all three. You know, there's been hints at tension between them, but there's been hints from Zack's side. There's been hints from Mojo's side. I think Mojo said to Zack something about something needs to change, you know, and then sort of left it hanging on an episode of SmackDown. And, you know, and stuff like that. So Mojo's not happy either, you know. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they turn heel, or who turns heel, rather than if there'll be a heel turn. I feel like, I know it's only the kickoff match, but I feel like it's the place to do it, is at the pay-per-view.
The thing about Mojo Rawley is, and in the absence of Zack Ryder, who was injured, Mojo was starting to rise up the ranks. He was starting to get a pretty good push. He was winning matches. He was bringing Rob Gronkowski in, and they were rewarding him with some victories. And then Zack Ryder came back, and it's like, just kidding. Back into a tag team land where you're not really much of anybody, and you're not doing anything. And I think that's where his frustrations lie. So I do think the heel turn would benefit him as well. Not so much them turning as a tag team, because then he's still stuck in the damn tag team. But whether he turns or Zack turns, as long as it ends up with the team breaking up, I think both guys can benefit.
Yeah, I mean, even if it just refreshes the team, like, look at what happened for Sheamus and Cesaro when they turned, you know, it completely breathed new life into them, so it could work as a team, but I do agree with you, I do feel one's going to turn on the other. This might be the last Hype Bros match we watch, I feel.
So
right, so my official prediction, because I don't think I actually said it, but Gable and Benjamin are winning. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's a given, unless they do some sort of thing where, I mean, there's a potential for, like, maybe whichever one's gonna turn to kind of cheat to win from the Hype Bros. You know, like, do something underhanded to win. And then the other one doesn't like it, and that's how they end up falling out. And, you know, the heel turn is when they're arguing, and say it's Zack Ryder just lays out Mojo Rawley or something. They could do that. They could win and still formulate a turn, but I feel like it's a lot more likely that Gable and Benjamin win.
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements. You're right. It could happen, and the way that you laid it out makes perfect sense. If it happens that way, but either way I wouldn't mind. But what's gonna upset me is if they have some match that's, you know, more than likely lackluster, and then no heel turn, as in every Sasha Banks match ever. It's like, come on, I'm just tired of, like, the heel turn is happening, it's gonna happen, and it doesn't. For once, can we just have it happen? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's more than enough time on the kickoff match, and we said we were going to keep this short. So, I'm working. What I tend to do is work bottom to top on WWE.com. I've got the Hell in a Cell card up on there, and they tend to have the main events up near the top. So I tend to assume the ones near the bottom are the openers. It doesn't normally work like that, but it's usually a good order to go in. So the first match after the kickoff is, according to WWE.com, Orton-Rusev, which is a direct SummerSlam rematch, no added stipulation. I mean, the added intrigue of Rusev picking up a quick, sneaky win over Randy Orton to cancel out SummerSlam. So this is kind of the rubber match, I guess. And I feel like I can predict it's going to go longer than 6 seconds, I hope.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm hoping for that because I was not on board with the SummerSlam match. I thought I remember saying, why is this happening again? And their entire feud on SmackDown, I don't get it, man. And it's like, Rusev is not happy with the company, and Randy's just working toward leaving on vacation because he wants to spend time with his wife and kids, and that's where he's at. He's the veteran. The road is worn him down, and he wants to go be with his family. So I just feel like neither one of them really have anything invested in the match, and as a fan, I can't get into it because of that. So
I agree and disagree. I completely agree that the SummerSlam match, I think we said, on the predictions, predictions for this match, toilet break, kind of thing. But turns out wasn't enough time to have a toilet break. But at least they've put a little bit of build into it this time. And I feel like it's got a better place on a card like Hell in a Cell than on one of the big 4 pay-per-views with no build. It felt so rushed in and thrown in. At least they've had segments now on SmackDown. Rusev's brought in the mayor of his hometown, supposedly, and stuff like that. And, and he's been walking around bragging about beating Orton. He's got Aiden English involved in the story a little bit. There's something actually happening. My main problem with the build-up to SummerSlam was there was no reason why they were fighting. There was no animosity. It was just, I want to fight. Well, I need a fight because otherwise I'm not getting paid. All right, let's have a fight. And I was just like, that's why I wasn't invested. So I'm a little bit more optimistic about this match than the SummerSlam match. But I still also agree that there's not a lot riding on it. I know there's no championship involved, but there doesn't always have to be a championship involved for it to be an interesting feud. And this one just hasn't hit that bar, really.
Not only is there no championship involved, but there's also no stipulation. It's just kind of like a straight up match, which really that could have been had on any SmackDown at any time. But nevertheless,
and in fact, they have had a match on SmackDown. It might have been a really quick one to get Rusev the win back, but still.
Right. So
it's strange to build up a match by having that match on SmackDown.
With that being said, who do you got, buddy?
Oh, it's like that lackluster. I honestly couldn't. Part of me wants to have a little faith and be like Rusev, but then part of me thinks, yeah, but he's in there with Randy Orton. Like, the only person who you favour over Randy Orton really is Cena. When you're trying to predict it, you only predict an Orton loss when he's facing Cena, don't you? So I'm gonna go Orton just because I'd be more surprised if Rusev won.
Here's the thing about Orton. He ate a lot of shit for like 2 or 3 months in a row to help the company put Jinder over. So it's kind of like he's due for another victory at a pay-per-view. That being said, it doesn't really help Randy Orton to win because he's going to leave and go on vacation anyways. And Rusev needs the win to carry the momentum because he has to be there. But I'm going to agree with you. I think regardless of all that, let's not act like there's actual logic in this from the writer's standpoint. I think I think Randy Orton's gonna pick up the win. I mean, the only way Orton doesn't win is if Aiden English, which I didn't think of this, was somehow comes down and gets involved and costs him the match. But I don't know. Again, he went through a lot of that with Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers. So I think maybe Orton just gets the win and then hopefully they're done with it after that.
Yeah, move on. No, hopefully they move on. Absolutely. And we're going to move on because we're not spending long on this match. It's just not that interesting. Okay, up next, Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler.
What a strange pairing. Because here's the problem with Bobby Roode. I don't like the whole. He was such a good heel. I mean, it's like he was just a bad guy, and then now he's a good guy. Or I don't know what's happening really with Bobby Roode, but in Dolph Ziggler, his whole like I'm gonna come out and spoof everybody's entrance. I know it's just wrestling. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems he doesn't come across to me as a heel. He comes across to me as a crybaby, and it's irritating. So I think Bobby Roode has to win. I mean, Why would they let Dolph Ziggler? He doesn't even beat people who aren't good. He still gets pinned by those people, and they're building up Bobby Roode right now. It just doesn't make sense for Roode to take a loss on pay-per-view. Nonetheless, I think Roode gets the victory.
Yeah, I think Roode's a lock for this, which probably means we're both wrong. But because you know how WWE is with their swerves for the sake of swerves.
Yes.
But I feel like it's got to be Roode. I think a couple of things I think I can predict. I feel like Ziggler's gonna come in first to Roode's music and do Roode's entrance.
Ah, I hadn't thought of that. That's a
I
very
feel like
smart thought.
The key's gonna hit and it's gonna build up and it's gonna be glorious and everyone's gonna be singing along and then he's gonna come out and he'll have his ponytail tucked into his robe so he'll still look like he has because he's got brown hair now, Ziggler. So it'll still look from the back a bit like Bobby Roode and then he'll turn around and it'll just be him. And I hope they do that because it'll be the only way of making the match even slightly interesting. It's obvious Bobby Roode's winning. I'm not saying it'll be a bad match. I'm saying it won't be an interesting match. And I think there's a difference. I think you can have a good match that's just got so little behind it. It's still not that interesting. I agree with you about Bobby Roode. I don't agree that he needs to be heel. I just think he needs to stop smiling. I think Bobby Roode in NXT. Yes, when he cut a promo and was saying it's my NXT, not all yours, he was cutting heel promos. But when Bobby Roode had a match, he wasn't a heel. In his matches, he didn't cheat. He didn't really take that many shortcuts. He took advantage of a situation, and like when Shinsuke hurt his leg, and Bobby Roode, jumped on that. Fair enough. But Bobby Roode could have easily been a face without changing his character at all. And yet they insisted on making him this smiley, happy Bobby Roode, and it's just like. Everyone loved heel Bobby Roode, so just make heel Bobby Roode a face, kind of. It's the same mistake. I know I'm going slightly off on a tangent here, but it's the same mistake they made when they turned the Miz face. Do you remember the Miz was building up, and everyone was actually starting to get behind the Miz years ago, and they turned him face, and they changed his character completely, and it's like, the reason why he was getting over was his character, so why did you change it? Like, that makes no sense. He had to stay the same to stay over. That's, It's like when The Rock was the corporate champ and he was heel. When he turned face, what did he change? Not an awful lot. He replaced the word corporate with people's. And that's all he changed about his character. And it worked because he was over as a heel, But now they seem to want to change personas when they change from heel to face and it doesn't work.
Here's another thing. If Rude is your last name, stop smiling, okay? It's like, can we just pay attention to the dynamics? Come on, man.
And in this day and age of Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's son, can he not be Rick Rude's son and start doing his routine?
Yeah, he's got the abs, He could learn some moves from the New Day. They twerk a lot.
No, he's got abs. He hasn't got the abs. Go back and look at Rick Rude. You're forgetting exactly how good of shape.
Rick Rude.
It was crazy.
He was chiseled from rock.
He was in Finn Balor shape. Like, the only person who could say, "Oh well, I've got the abs. Look at me. I must be Rick Rude's son." Is Finn Balor. That's the only person in the current WWE that could even hold a candle. Like.
By the way,
Rick Rude was in crazy shape.
Going back to your idea of Ziggler spoofing Rude's entrance, the last time I remember somebody doing that, and it actually mattered, it's the guy that Dolph Ziggler loves to try to emulate, which was Shawn Michaels, who came out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Billy Gunn.
No.
Yeah,
HBK, man. Remember he came out dressed up like The Undertaker?
Yeah, I do remember that. And Dolph Ziggler did, so we know now finally what happened to Undertaker's hat and coat after WrestleMania this year.
Ziggler stole it.
Came down to the ring and stole it once the cameras had stopped rolling. He was like, "I got an idea for this. I'm gonna go take them."
That's funny, man. Yeah.
So Bobby Roode's winning. We both agree.
Yeah.
It's not even up for debate, really. I really hope, as soon as they booked the feud, they weren't right. This is going to happen this week. This is going to happen that week. This is going to happen that week. Bobby Roode wins. We move on. And I hope they've never even considered changing that plan because they're stupid if they have. Okay, up next, United States Championship. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin. And definitely going to... I always let you go first, but definitely on this one because I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to convince me one way or the other because I'm actually struggling a bit with this one. So, away you go.
Okay, Baron Corbin. What a shitstorm he created for himself, seemingly.
Ended up in a title match the very next pay-per-view.
Yeah, because here's the thing about good versus evil. For every good guy, you got to have a great bad guy, and And in spite of the fact that being bad is what got him in trouble in the first place, he's really good at it. Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, he
Baron Corbin's one of the best pure heels in the WWE. If you look through the list, Dolph Ziggler isn't a pure heel. Rusev's kind of a pure heel, but he's kind of over. The fans kind of like him. The Usos, the fans kind of like him, and you know they don't do anything that heelish. Natalia, not that heel. Jinder Mahal's very much heel. Kevin Owens is far too popular to be considered a pure heel, even though he does nothing face-ish. He's just so good that he transcends it, and he's almost not a pure heel. Baron Corbin's one of the best pure heels, at least on SmackDown.
and the reason
Really.
for that is because Baron Corbin is an asshole. Like, it's not an act for him.
He's a heel in real life.
Yeah, he's just doing the same shit he would do if the cameras, whether the cameras are on or not. It's like, they're like, hey, Corbin, we're not filming right now. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm still an asshole.
It's like, hey, Baron, why are you being like this? It's like, I'm just tweeting with my mouth, basically.
Exactly. This is how I am all the
That's what a
time.
Baron Corbin promo is. Yeah, he's just him tweeting with his mouth.
I am an AJ Styles guy.
Oh, who isn't? If anyone's not an AJ Styles guy, have you ever watched wrestling? That's my question.
And that would
It's like,
that's a fair question.
how do you not like AJ Styles? Heel or face? How do you not love AJ Styles? He's too good.
Yeah.
He's too good to hate. That's why I'm glad he's face, because he's too good to hate.
Now, with that being said, AJ Styles is a bona fide superstar. Baron Corbin is on the cusp of stardom, and you don't build stars by making them lose. You build stars by letting them win against other people who have already been built. So I think Baron Corbin finds a way to shock the world and go over AJ Styles and take the strap off of him.
I understand that you think Baron Corbin should win. Do you think he will? Because I understand your reasoning behind why he should win, but do you think that's what they will do?
And I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'm trying to give the smart guess, you know, because
Yeah, you're giving the correct booking, but what do you think they will do?
I think that Cena had fun burying Corbin, and I think that AJ is gonna have fun burying Corbin.
You think we're gonna get a rematch of Cena Corbin from SummerSlam just with AJ playing Cena?
Yeah, and by the way, who's better at playing Cena than AJ Styles?
True. That was like the basis of their whole feud. Was in mocking him and mimicking him. So who you going with as your actual prediction for this match? Because I'm still struggling. I'm on the fence.
Ah, man.
I 100% agree with your reasoning why Baron Corbin should win. I'm just wondering if you actually believe he will win.
I stick with my reasoning. With that being said, I have a hard time thinking that Baron Corbin would actually be granted the opportunity to win the match. I think AJ Styles, you know, the Open US Challenge has become such a big thing, you know, per John Cena, and AJ Styles has kept it alive. And I don't know, man. Because here's the thing: you can protect Corbin's heel heat if after he loses the match to AJ, then he flips out and still attacks him, and then he lost, but he's still protected as being a heel. So I don't know. I guess probably my official prediction is AJ Styles is gonna win. How could he not? You know.
Okay. I've decided. I've listened to everything you said, and I've had a couple of thoughts of my own while you've been talking as well. I'm going to go Baron Corbin, and the reason I'm going to go Baron Corbin, and this just occurred to me, is the United States title is SmackDown's equivalent of the Raw Women's Championship. It is a bit of a hot potato. It changes hands very frequently, if you look back. And I think to keep this whole Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, Ty Dillinger story going, I think to keep Baron Corbin in that fold, he needs to win, because he just lost to Ty on SmackDown. So I think he needs to win to keep him in. Otherwise, it's going to be an AJ Ty feud, which isn't going to do a good job of getting Ty over. Because okay, they can have a little bit of a rivalry based on respect, but who's going to cheer Ty Dillinger over AJ Styles? You know, he's effectively going to take the role of heel in that feud, regardless, because the fans are going to side with AJ. They might not boo Ty, but they'll be cheering AJ. So I don't think that'll benefit anyone except AJ, but he doesn't, like you said, doesn't need benefiting. So I think Baron Corbin, and I also think Baron Corbin because he ate a clean loss on SmackDown, didn't get his heel heat back by jumping Ty, and AJ Styles cut a promo on him. So technically, AJ Styles was standing tall on SmackDown. on the go home show. So that means that he loses at the pay per view. And I'm going to stick with WWE Booking 101. And I'm going to say I actually think Baron Corbin will win it. I don't feel like winning the US title is directly opposite being buried. You know, like, yes, it's got more prestige now, but it's not like they're giving him the WWE title. And it's not like they're not going to take it back off him on SmackDown or the next pay-per-view or whatever. You know, I just feel like for story progression, I feel like Corbin has to win this.
I hate that freaking psychology, because I know it's true. We all know it's true. I hate that, like, the go home show, all the people who stand tall are the ones who go on to lose the pay-per-view. I only hate it when the guy that I want to win stands tall.
And it's like, oh damn, he's gonna lose now.
Yep.
Okay, so that's our first disagreement as well. So this it'll be interesting because I'm gonna, as I'm watching, I'm gonna be keeping score, and then when we do the review, I'm gonna be like, Nina, I lost, because that's what normally happens when I keep score. So yeah. Okay, next match, another championship match, the tag team championships, Hell in a Cell. The first time the tag titles have been defended in Hell in a Cell. I know we've had a tag match in Hell in a Cell because we had Legacy versus DX, didn't we? But and I think we had DX versus the McMahons and Big Show, which is technically a tag match, even though it's a handicap match as well. So it's not the first tag match in Hell in a Cell. And we had wasn't there like a Raw one, like Austin and Mankind against Austin and Undertaker versus Mankind and Kane or something like that. But this is the first time the titles have been defended in Hell in a Cell, I believe. And can I just say, I'm a little bit disappointed that the Uso Penitentiary isn't different from Hell in a Cell. Do you remember the Kennel from Hell match? Al Snow and Bossman.
I also remember the Punjabi prison.
Yeah, you see, I was thinking the Kennel from Hell match, but without the dogs. So just a cage inside a Hell in a Cell. And somehow you played into, like, maybe you could only win the match by leaving the cell through the door. And you had like a referee on the door, so it's like a Punjabi prison double escape match, except you can't go over the cell.
They can't do it because I'm sorry, man, we're too close to WWE's War Games.
Well, yeah, but you don't win that by leaving, do you? By exiting the cell. I was thinking like you put the standard steel cage on the ring, because the cage sits snug on the ring apron, doesn't it? It kind of slides down the outside of the ring apron, I think, and just sits basically level with it. And then you've got the cell, which is a lot bigger. It fills the entire ringside area. So, like, put the cage inside the cell, and you have to climb over the cage. There's no door on the cage, or the door's just permanently locked. There's no referee manning that door. So you have to climb the cage, and then both people have to get out of the cell to win. Or dangle the belts above the cell, and there's a ladder up there. But do something slightly different is what I was getting at. I don't know, the fact that they've been building up this term Uso Penitentiary, and then they don't invent the Uso Penitentiary match for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view where you're in a cage and you could, like, to just call it the Uso Penitentiary is a bit lame.
Here's the thing, man. The last time they tried to do something, okay, fine, they didn't invent the Uso Penitentiary. You know why they didn't do that? Because they tried to invent Bray Wyatt's House of Horrors, and it was fucking horrific.
True, but I mean, like, we're not talking about doing a non-live match not in front of the fans with weird editing and a fridge as the main weapon. We're talking two standard gimmick matches just being combined, but being combined in such a way that they've done before. And the only thing that was really wrong with that match, apart from the fact that it was Al Snow versus Big Boss Man, and why the hell that is a Hell in a Cell match, I'll never know. But the other problem was they just had dogs pooing and humping at ringside. So take out the dogs, take out the Al Snow, take out the Big Boss Man, and you've got a recipe for a good match, in my opinion. You know, you only need to take out the bad ingredients to improve a recipe. You don't need to just screw it up and throw it in the trash.
So, first of all, your idea will never happen because it's a good idea. Second of all,
do you want me to go first this time, or are we gonna keep the trend going? You go first.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know the tag team titles have been going back and forth between these guys. The problem is, if New Day wins, then the best part of SmackDown, which is New Day versus Usos right now, that ends too. But like, there's nobody who is there to step in and challenge them next. Like, I don't know. I just want to keep seeing more of the New Day versus the Usos. So it's kind of like the Usos have to win in order for that to happen. But like, are you really gonna let just like how they were doing with the women's championship? Like you said, like, Is this going to be another hot potato situation where people are going to be like, ah, come on, there's nobody's holding the titles for any length of time, and then I don't know, man. It's tough, but I'm gonna go. Shit, I don't know. I don't know. This is
Do you want me
crazy.
to go first?
Yes.
I'll present my case because I know who I'm going with in this one. I didn't when we started talking about it, but I've decided while you've been making good points, and some of them I thought I disagree with, even though it's a good point. And the reason I disagree with it is because this match is in Hell in a Cell, and I'm sorry, but you got to finish a feud in Hell in a Cell. If you have a feud that goes through Hell in a Cell, what the hell was the point of Hell in a Cell? That's the destination. That is the end of the feud, as far as I'm concerned. And the only way the feud ends is if the New Day retain, because if the Usos win, there's a rematch clause. So, like, I know they don't always enforce the rematch clause. Hey, Universal Championship, but it's an excuse to carry on the feud. And I feel like, much as I'd love to see the feud carry on, and I 100% agree with you, I don't think it should, not immediately, just because it's Hell in a Cell. And it's sort of laying credence to the idea that maybe the Hype Bros will turn heel as a team, because who else? I mean, I was going to say who else have they got to take on a New Day, but they've got Authors of Pain. Like, you predicted them to come up to Raw on SummerSlam. What if they come up to SmackDown after Hell in a Cell? Or at Hell in a Cell and destroy the New Day after they retain? You know, they need a new heel challenger one way or the other, because who else is a credible... Don't say the Ascension. Who else is a credible heel tag team on SmackDown? That's the problem they have at the moment. They've put themselves into a corner because there's no one else to challenge the New Day.
Yeah, man, I agree.
But I still think they're going to go with the New Day, and they'll do something like the Authors of Pain, or turn in the Hype Bros, or suddenly push the Ascension and expect us to believe it. They'll do something like that. I don't know what they'll do, but I do feel like the New Day are going to retain here.
I got my prediction, and it's gonna go like this. I think if it's true that the end game is to have the New Day end up having the most tag team title reigns of any tag team in the history of WWE, to match the fact that they've been the longest reigning tag team champs, then the only way to achieve that is to take the belts back off of them. And I think because of that, the Usos will find a way to pull out the win over the New Day.
I did think of that, and the thing is, though, there's such a big merch seller, I don't think they have any intention of splitting them up within the next year, so there's no rush to do that. You know, like, they can do it over the next few years and make it much more believable than if they just, you know, smash it out over the next 6 months back and forth. I'm just doing a quick Google, though, because like you said, they want New Day to be the most established tag teams, but the Usos already have 4 tag team title reigns to their name, so they can't back and forth the titles with the Usos, because the Usos will end up on the same or maybe even higher. So if their plan is to give the New Day the most tag title reigns, they can't just flip-flop it with the Usos forever, because the Usos will actually get there.
That's a great point. And then something else I was gonna say, which might be to counter again, New Day winning, is kind of like New Day is they're so over as a tag team, merchandise sales and everything, as you brought up. They don't need the titles to be relevant. No matter what, they're going to be relevant. But the Usos, as great as they are, without the tag titles, or without being the number one contenders and thus being in the hunt for the titles, I feel like they kind of lose their way, their identity as a team. Like, if they're not in the hunt and they don't have the straps, who are they?
I understand that, but I think other than New Day getting into that role as WrestleMania hosts, which was just because of how over they are, generally speaking, if you're in a tag team and you're not in the tag title match on either show, you're not really relevant, because there's only so much room on every card, so I agree, but I don't think that's a slight on the Usos. I think that's just fact of life, and I've just looked it up. The New Day are current 4-time tag champions as well, so if Usos win, if they flip-flop the titles, the Usos will get to the record first, because if the Usos win, that'll be their 5th win, and the New Day will be 4 times. And then the New Day will catch up to 5 times, and then it'll be 6-5 to the Usos. So they can't flip-flop it all the way to the record, because the Usos will get there first. So, just based on that, and just based on the fact that I feel like Hell in a Cell has to be the end of a feud, I'm going New Day. Are you officially going Usos?
I'm gonna go Usos, and here's why. Your logic is undeniable. It's just fun to oppose you.
I'm okay. I'm okay with opposition. The review show would still be fun, but without it. But I feel like it's a little bit more fun if there's at least some matches we disagree on.
Yes.
Because then at least there's a little bit of, Nina, I was right, you were wrong. Whoever gets to say it, we can have the fun with it. So I'm all for a little bit of opposition.
Okay. Perfect.
And I completely understand your points. And let's be honest, you're not saying they're gonna do this, and by December they're both gonna have 10 world tag title reigns. You're not saying they're gonna do this every week. They're just keeping the Usos and the New Day going for now. And I am all for that. I love this feud. I love every match they've had. These guys are kind of... I'm trying to think of an equivalent of just when you put people together and they're just incapable of having a bad match. Just cannot do it no matter what. So, it's always going to be one of the matches of the night. And let's face it, these four, whichever... isn't someone injured from New Day? Is it Xavier that's not match ready at the moment?
Yeah, I think it is him. Oh, by the way,
so it's going to be Big E and Kofi, but let's face it, whichever 4 of the 5 go at it, it's always a great match.
Yeah, no matter what.
And I'm really looking forward to it, and I honestly don't care if I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, that probably means there's a rematch, and I am A-okay with that.
Excellent.
Okay, up next, women with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. Fun little tidbit that you probably already know, but all the listeners might not. Natalya and Charlotte are going to be the first 2 women to compete for every women's championship that has been available in the span of their careers. So they have competed for the Divas Championship, they've competed for the NXT Women's Championship, and they've competed for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships at some point one-on-one. And they are the first pair of women to compete for all of those titles, and probably the only, because a lot of the women now that can compete for the Women's Championships might not have been around for the Divas title. There's only like maybe Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch and people like that were around outside of these 2. So there you go, fun little tidbit.
And the thing about that is they both are wrestling royalty. You got the Hearts and you got the Flairs, so it's so perfect that it's them.
Forget the heritage, they're both phenomenal wrestlers. Like, it doesn't matter. David Flair comes from the Flair family and he couldn't wrestle a lick, so it doesn't always guarantee it, but yeah, these 2 are great. These 2 are so good. Natalya better than Charlotte in my potentially controversial opinion, but
I agree. Here's the thing about Charlotte. She's got a moonsault, and that's pretty much what she's got.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, she's got good in ring psychology. Hey, she's also I had to shoehorn it in at some point. She's athletic. She is good in the ring. I feel like she's put on a pedestal by WWE and fans alike without realizing it because of her surname. And I feel like there are better. I feel like Natalya is one of the ones better, in my opinion.
Natalya, let me tell you something about her. With her fine ass. I could do without the cats. Natalya needed... Natalya, she needed respect in this company long ago. I can't stand... somebody, she is pure wrestling. She just oozes wrestling. It's dripping off of her. And they would be like having her lose to these people who just weren't worth anything. And so like right now to see her with the championship and see her in the position that she's in, it's like, thank you, finally, hello, this is long overdue.
Man, it is far too early for me to be thinking about something dripping off Natalya. But I agree. If like 10, 15 years ago, Vince McMahon had been like, I've had enough of this. Here, Ebeza, take the reins. You're in charge. I don't think there would have been a single day since then that Natalya wasn't holding some kind of women's championship. I just feel like she's the top one. She's the Bruno Sammartino. She should have held the belt for 8 years, hands down. Honestly, I can't actually state how big of a Natalya mark I am. I really like Natalya.
This is Natalya's second title defense, correct? Because she defended the title in the rematch with Naomi already.
Yes. Yeah, she did. So, I feel like, okay, I'll go first. I feel like Charlotte wins and Carmella potentially cashes in. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna run with Charlotte just yet. I think she's only just come back from, obviously, her father's sickness and stuff, and I feel like you give her the win, but don't give her the reign to sort of remind the fans, yes, she's good and she can beat anyone, but keep her chasing. I feel like she needs to be chasing at the moment, but I think they're going to switch it to her chasing Carmella. Much as I hate to say it, much as I want Natalya to be the women's champion until she decides to retire, I feel like Carmella's walking out with the title, but my official prediction is Charlotte.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put C because I do it in shorthand, and that stands for Charlotte and Carmella. So yeah.
You said something. Give her the win, but don't give her the reins. And I thought, yeah, definitely don't give her the reins because then she'll never get over.
I think I just said reign similar, like title reign, but I see what you did there. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Don't give her any number of reigns because that doesn't go well.
Yeah, not in this company, no. I think.
Wait, was that you trying to say that you think Roman Reigns would be a megastar in New Japan?
I mean, yes. I don't know. I think Reigns could be a star anywhere else because, the fans are doing this thing where they're like, it doesn't matter how good he is or what he does. It's like, yeah, but you tried to force him on us, so anywhere it goes, no matter which way you turn with him, we're gonna boo him.
Can someone make a meme somewhere of Roman Reigns on the mic saying, I'm actually pretty good in the ring, and then the fans all with the Rock's head on every single fan, like photoshopped, shouting, it doesn't matter how good you are.
That would be the irony in that statement.
I know, with the relation and everything, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so I'm going Charlotte for the actual match win, and I'm claiming my my potential bonus point if I predicted the cash in. What say you?
I hate talking to you sometimes because it's like everything you say sounds so right, and then I sound so stupid trying to oppose you.
You see, you ruined it now, because when you said that, I was going to make the joke, you sound just like my girlfriend, but now, if I say it at this point, it makes me sound like I'm calling her stupid. I'm not. I just wanted to go in at the point that you said, I hate talking to you.
Oh, yeah, babe. Tread lightly. She might listen to this.
Yeah.
I think...
If you're listening to this, I said nothing about Natalya. You did not hear that.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to go with what you're saying. I think what you're saying is correct. I think Charlotte Flair wins. I think she has to win specifically on a roll-up. She wins on a roll-up because being beaten in that fashion is the kind of thing that would incite rage inside of Natalya to the point to where she would then immediately jump up and attack Charlotte Flair, and she would put her...
Adam West from Family Guy style cat launcher.
Exactly. And then she throws her in the sharpshooter. She refuses to let go. They're ringing the bell. Ding, 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 ding. And the referee's going, hey, Natalya. And Charlotte's tapping out for her life. And Natalia's like, absolutely not. And she holds it forever. And then when she finally lets it go, you hear Carmella's music hit. And then Charlotte can't stand because her legs are messed up. And then Carmella walks out with the championship. I'm with you, man.
Okay. I'll tell you what, because we're both calling the cash in, but because you were like so specific, I'm going to say we can both have a bonus point if Carmella cashes in. You can have another bonus point if Charlotte wins by roll-up. I'm going to give you an extra prediction point if she wins by roll-up. That's such a specific scenario.
Yes.
I will be blown away. I will be like, whoa, this isn't fair. Why am I in a predictions game against one of the head writers? Because this isn't fair. So I will be like, yeah, absolutely, have your bonus points. Shut up and take my money, as it were. Like, shut up and take my bonus points. Like, that, I will be mighty impressed. So I've written down in brackets roll up to remind me to give you a bonus point if that's what happens.
Perfect. Okay. I will take it.
Another championship match. The mid-card title in the WWE. The WWE Championship. So here's Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a match that really needs the Hell in a Cell and doesn't have it. How do you have someone retain thanks to outside interference at SummerSlam and then the rematch at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view not be inside Hell in a Cell to stop the same thing happening again. How do you do that? How does that happen? I know it'd be 3 Hell in a Cell matches, but I don't care. I don't think the importance should be how many matches there are. It should be how many matches does it make sense for. And on this card, it makes sense for 3 of the matches to be in Hell in a Cell.
Does it, considering the fact that the modern day Maharaja was just inside a Punjabi prison?
Yes, because that was to stop the Singh brothers interfering as well, and that didn't work. So they're like, hang on, let's step it up a bit then. Let's put a roof on the thing, and let's make it mesh that even the Singh brothers can't fit through. I know that they're only the size of an average chihuahua, but they cannot get through that cell. So, yes, that's exactly what needs to be in Hell in a Cell, because they need to step up the protection to try and get a clean result. There's not been a clean ending to a WWE title match in like 5 months, and there's not going to be one here. Because it's not in Hell in a Cell.
This is one of those things where Shinsuke...
I know it's heel heat and blah 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 blah, but it's from a kayfabe point of view, it's highly illogical to have this not in Hell in a Cell. That's my point. That's why does Daniel Bryan not want this heel to fight fair? Why? Oh, Shane McMahon, both authority figures on SmackDown are face. So why is neither of them saying, hold up, hold the phone. This guy needs to be put in Hell in a Cell with his opponent, no matter who it is, because these two little guys keep jumping whoever he's fighting.
Man, I think it's maybe more of the mechanics. Like, Jinder Mahal is very stiff, and I'm not talking about how hard he punches. I'm talking about his body. Like, back in the day, they had the superposable action figures. His body is not even superposable. Like, he walks around like if you touch his arm, it might break off. It's weird. And at least the Punjabi prison had giant holes for him to climb up and down. Like, he could get his foot in there. But, like,
But this doesn't need to be the cell match where they climb it. That's what we're going to talk about next. This one can stay firmly inside the cell. And I believe the Usos and the New Day will stay firmly inside the cell. The only point for the cell is to keep the Singh brothers out. The match should start. The cell comes down around Jinder, and the Singh brothers aren't with him, and then you cut to backstage and Daniel Bryan scruffs them both and goes, where are you two going? Like, thinking they're going to sneak through the trap door under the ring, because that's obviously how it works. They've not been there all show, honest guys. And like, I don't know, do some little comedy bit just before the match where Daniel Bryan like ties them up, like wraps a rope around them and ties them up backstage or something, and then the cell comes down and he's like, right, you can watch that on the monitor, enjoy. And do something like that. It would be, a little bit of light relief from this horrendous feud. And it would also be incredibly logical that why do the two people running the show that are both babyfaces and want what the crowd wants, not want to see the best man win in this match?
Oh, I know, man. But what are they going to do? It's not like it's up to them,
No, I know, but in kayfabe, the writing makes no sense in kayfabe land. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, actual result. What do you think? Are we keeping up the reign of tyranny, or do you reckon Shinsuke is actually going to win the WWE title?
I am a Shinsuke Nakamura guy. I'm also. I was all for Jinder Mahal's reign, and trust me, you can look on that page. Nobody was touting him more than me. And even I have now gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, this has gone on too long. Because he didn't progress the way I needed him to. Like, I was firmly behind him because of the fact that, like, hey, they gave somebody who previously didn't matter a chance. And I like that. But his promos didn't get any better. His wrestling didn't get any better. And there's only so many times you can book that exact same ending. I don't know, man. Nakamura
ending the exact same match.
Yeah, like every time.
You can substitute some of Randy Orton's moves for some of Shinsuke's moves, but all 4 WWE title matches on pay-per-view that Jinder Mahal has been in have been identical so far.
I feel like even if Shinsuke wins this time around, it won't matter. He should have won the first time, and that was the right moment for him to win. And if you give it to him now, it just seems like. Yeah, and it's like, you can't keep letting Jinder win, except for, they got something's going on. Something's coming. I can't remember what it is, but something's coming up. No, they're just finishing up their India tour, right? Like, they were just in India.
They've got another tour of India coming up in December.
Right.
I hate to break it to you.
And then here's the thing about that, because the plan for Jinder, supposedly the reports I'm reading on the page, once he drops the belt, he then goes after Rob Gronkowski for a WrestleMania match. So it kind of makes sense for Jinder, if that's the truth, for him to drop the belt after that India tour would be, let's say in January at the Royal Rumble, and then of course the day after the Royal Rumble is officially WrestleMania season. So, but it's like, dude, you can't. SmackDown isn't even filling half of the arena at this point. I want Nakamura to win. He's the rock star of WWE, and he needs a win badly. I just think that they're so stubborn with this whole Indian market thing that I feel like Jinder Mahal walks out with that belt, man.
All right, I will lock it in for you, Jinder Mahal. Okay. See, I've heard different rumors. I've heard and read rumors that Jinder Mahal may potentially keep the title till WrestleMania, which would be so that's the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Depressing. That's the word I'm looking for. I was about to say disappointing. I was like, no, that's not a strong enough word. I was like, that's a strong enough word. Yeah, it's one way or the other. No matter which report you believe, it sounds like Jinder's going to keep holding the title. The one thing I will say is that Jinder can keep the title as long as he wants, but then when he drops it, Shinsuke can walk back into that title scene. Do you think, after Jinder Mahal loses the title and potentially has his rematch, Jinder Mahal will ever have another WWE title match again?
He never gets back. Just like, look at...
Never. I think everyone can agree he is not a newly established permanent main eventer like
No.
I think Shinsuke Nakamura is. So, for that reason, and the distance from India, from the India tour, I'm gonna have to agree with you, because they can't stretch it out and still make him the challenger for the India tour. He would be out of the picture, gone, losing to Kurt Hawkins, gone by that point. So,
Yeah.
it's maybe even released. I don't know how fast he's going to fall from grace once he loses that belt. But at the moment, the belt's trying to make the man, and the man's doing nothing to make the belt, and that never ends well. So, despite how negatively we're both talking about him, I think we both agree that I think Jinder's going to retain. And I think the key thing that gives it away is the fact that they've not put it in Hell in a Cell. I think they've just given away the fact that it's going to be the same match for a fifth time.
Yeah, I agree. If Nakamura was to win, I would be very surprised. Indeed.
Yes, so would I. I would be very happy to be wrong, but I would be very surprised. And as I said, the last two lots of predictions we've done, sometimes you just have to think, fast forward a little bit in your mind and imagine the end of the match and think, would I be surprised by that? Like I said with the SummerSlam main event, like I said with the No Mercy main event, both of them, I said, if Brock doesn't win, I'll be surprised, so I have to predict Brock. That's just how predictions work, is you predict what you're expecting to happen. And I'll be so surprised to see Shinsuke win the WWE title. I'll be very happy to see it, but I'll be very surprised. So I'm going with Jinder as well. I agree. I think we can both. I don't think it's a lock, but I think we can both agree it's more than 50-50 in favour of Jinder by quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's a shame, but sad but true. Okay, main event. Oh, they've given away the ending. To the main event. The Falls Count Anywhere Hell in a Cell match. Specifically, a Falls Count Anywhere Hell in a Cell match. What say you, Emir? Shane McMahon or Kevin Owens? Why is it Kevin Owens?
Man, why is it Kevin Owens? Yes, exactly. Why is it Kevin Owens? How could it ever be Shane McMahon? Because here's the thing.
How is it not going to end with Shane falling off the cell and Kevin Owens pinning him where he lands? Like, how is it not going to end like that now?
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere. And the thing about Shane, he likes to get in there. He likes to mix it up, if for no other reason, to prove to the guys in the back, like, yeah, my dad owns the company. But let's take it easy. I'm no Jason Jordan.
My dad owns the company, but look at the height of this thing I'm willing to jump off.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm heir to $1 billion and no reason to risk my life. Look what I can do, guys. And I get it. But the whole thing is, obviously, it serves no purpose whatsoever for Shane to ever go over any of the talent. It would be stupid, especially not Kevin Owens.
I can give you one scenario in which it makes sense for Shane to beat Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell, and I may cast a tiny bit of doubt in your mind. Triple H versus Owens at WrestleMania. What if Kevin Owens is, say, about to throw Shane off the cell? Yeah, he's got him ready for the powerbomb. He's got his head between his legs. He's about to powerbomb him off the cell. And then Triple H's music hits, and Kevin Owens looks at the ramp. Shane drops down, low blows Owens, or does something like that, rolls through, pins him, Enzo versus Neville style. Falls count anywhere. That includes on top of the cell. The referee's going to have to climb with them if they climb, because how else is he going to count a pin? So, what about a scenario like that to set up? I think that's like a 5% scenario. I think it's 95% Owens. I'm just saying there is a scenario in which it makes sense for Shane McMahon to beat Kevin Owens, and it wouldn't hurt Owens.
Are you taking into consideration the rumor that Kevin Owens jumps to Raw after Hell in a Cell?
I don't think that matters massively, as both shows are live. I feel like Triple H can just be a SmackDown guy for a bit, because I think the stigma with... I agree there is a stigma with SmackDown being the B show, but I think a lot of that comes from it being taped, so there's no point in doing massive surprises on it because they get spoiled on the internet. Now that it's live, you can have Triple H versus Owens on SmackDown, but yes, I think Owens moving to Raw maybe contributes to the fact that could definitely happen. But I don't see any reason why that feud can't happen as one of SmackDown's main feuds going into WrestleMania either. You know, I just don't... It depends on who you want Owens to fight before Triple H. Like, you know, on the way to Triple H is to which show you put him on. To me, it doesn't matter which show Triple H shows up on. Everyone knows he oversees both. Everyone knows by now, you know, that he's directly under Vince over both shows. So... Yeah,
man.
But what say you to that scenario before you give your official prediction? Have I put any doubt in your mind whatsoever?
It's another one of those situations where it would be amazing if that happened. Therefore, I feel like it won't happen.
And that's why it won't happen. I knew you were going to say that.
Because that's the thing. You remind me of a lot of other smart people I know when it comes to wrestling. We can all put together these scenarios of like, this thing would be so awesome. And that's why they would never do it. Like, they don't write the show for us guys, the smart wrestling guys. They write the show for the casual fan that's like, oh, yeah, see, we like authentic Mexican food, you see? They're writing the show for those who like Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Yeah, I love sushi and love real fresh sushi so much, and they're making a menu for Yo Sushi. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. However, I have a question for you that I want to throw it into a little bit more doubt for you, because I really want to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to predict Owens, but I really want to present the case for Shane winning. Here's my question. Now that I've written down every prediction except your official prediction, which I think I know which way you're going, but where's the swerve? WWE swerve us at least once per pay-per-view. Where's the swerve on the Hell in a Cell card? Gable and Benjamin to win, not a swerve. Hype Bros, if they win, not really that much of a swerve, because let's face it, no one really cares that much about that match. Orton versus Rusev, either one could win, neither would be a swerve. Rude versus Ziggler, if Ziggler wins, that's a bit of a swerve, but do you really see that happening? Corbin AJ, we predicted one each, so we can't call that a swerve either way. Same with New Day Usos. Natalya Charlotte, if Natalya did win that match, would that really be a swerve? Natalya is great. This isn't James Ellsworth versus Charlotte. This is Natalya versus Charlotte. You know, like, would that be a swerve? Shinsuke beating Jinder might be a swerve, but there's got to be a lot of casual fans and a lot of internet fans, you know, smart fans alike, expecting Shinsuke to win because he's better than Jinder, and they're having a bit of faith in WWE. So where's the swerve on the card? I'll tell you where it is. Shane McMahon beats Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
you swerve.
But your official prediction is Kevin Owens wins?
Yeah, because I still think it's a 5% chance they'll actually do it. I feel like the obvious answer is more often than not the actual answer. Look how strongly you advocated for pretty much everyone but Brock Lesnar to win the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, and I said, yeah, but Brock's winning. Like, because it's WWE. Brock's winning because it's WWE. Not because I want Brock to win, not because I would be particularly overjoyed with Brock winning, but because I would be stunned if he doesn't. You know, like, and so, yeah, I would love to be right about Shane, but I'm not going to predict it because I don't want to lose a point.
right.
Because I know Kevin Owens is going to win.
I'm ready. I'm ready to weigh in now.
Okay.
Here's what I'm gonna do to you, Ebeza.
Hey, guys, I need an adult.
I'm going to go with Shane McMahon, and here's why.
Oh,
Because
I love you so much.
because when Shane McMahon wins, I won't have gotten the point on my own prediction. I will have used your prediction against you to get a point against you.
Oh my god, playing dirty. Is this a heel turn on episode 1?
Yes, exactly. Sweeter than me giving up, my own theories about why Shane would win, which by the way I have none. if I just go with your theories,
I have a bit of suggestion in my mind of why Shane will win, and I can formulate this theory, and so I'm picking Owens, and you are 100% behind the idea that Kevin Owens will win, so you pick Shane. This is fantastic. I hope you guys appreciate how backwards this prediction show is.
This mentality right here, this is WWE.
Yeah, we are in tune with WWE booking at the moment. Yeah, definitely. By the way, do you know what was the ultimate swerve for the sake of a swerve of this year? What was the ultimate swerve that they did not need to do? It involves someone in this main event match.
I can.
Jericho beating Kevin Owens for the US title at WrestleMania.
That was so stupid because then he immediately won it back.
Was it the pay-per-view after WrestleMania? Sorry, no, Owens won at WrestleMania, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, the rematch, and what Jericho literally lost the match and got kayfabe injured, quote injured, that 2 days later and left to go on a tour. So they did that just because they knew everyone was expecting Owens to win. Just because everyone knew Owens was going to win. Swerve for the sake of a swerve.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah, it wasn't even, when I saw it, I wasn't even like, wait, what happened? I was like, why do that just for the sake of it? I was just instantly annoyed. I was just like, that was so pointless. It was so pointless. Like, the same story could have been told if Owens cheated to win and they had the rematch on SmackDown. They didn't need the 2 title changes in 2 days. They didn't need it.
Yeah, I agree, man.
So they have been known to swerve and also screw over Kevin Owens a little bit with the swerve, just for the sake of it. So, I think Shane could win, so I'm predicting Owens. You think Shane has no chance in hell. Excuse the pun. So you're going with Shane. Lovely. Okay. That's a good place to start wrapping up this episode, I believe.
I agree. So there you have it, folks. Our official predictions are in. Myself and Mike, we've told you our thoughts. Listen to the show and let us know what you think. Comment on the post, and we can go back and forth with you guys on all the reasons why you are wrong.
Can I just say as well, someone's going to win the prediction. Well, no, there's a chance of a draw, actually. There's a chance of a draw. But I was just looking at it, there's 3 matches we disagree on. So, on a fundamental who wins, who loses prediction basis, someone's got to win.
Yes, I want blood. I don't want to draw.
Yeah. However, if I win 2-1, but Charlotte wins her match with a roll-up, you'll get the bonus point and it'll be a draw. So there is a chance for a draw. But in terms of pure predictions, then you'll basically win on like goal difference rather than an actual like points win if you win based on that roll-up kind of thing. So
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that point. She's gonna roll her up, and I'm just gonna sit back and be like, victory.
I guarantee you she's gonna roll her up, and I'm just gonna pick my phone up and open Twitter and just wait. I'll just wait for the tweet from you.
So thank you guys for listening to the show. Let us know what you're thinking here, and we'll have some fun with this. And also make sure you tune in for the Ring Psychology reaction show, which we'll have posted up for you Sunday night, Monday morning, somewhere in there. But in the meantime,
as soon as we can get it up before after Hell in a Cell, basically, we are literally gonna turn off the WWE Network after Hell in a Cell and turn on Skype and start talking. Basically,
just immediately go into it. This has been the first episode of Ring Psychology. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Amir Costello for Mike Ebeza. We will catch you guys down the road.